Good morning, everyone. My name is Andrew Menezes, and today I'll be showing you an in-depth look at the Mongol warlord Kublai Khan, and why there's more to the Mongol Empire than just Genghis Khan. Without a shadow of a doubt, Genghis Khan is one of the most influential conquerors in history, but as a ruler of men, Kublai Khan might have been superior. That being said, before we dive into his greatest achievement, we need to go over a bit of background information, namely his connections to Genghis Khan and his childhood. Kublai Khan is a direct descendant of Genghis Khan, being his grandson, and is the fifth Khagan of the Mongol Empire. Some of his notable accomplishments include defeating his close relative Arike Bokeh in a civil war, and of course, his greatest being the establishment of the Yuan dynasty. Now, Kublai Khan is remembered in history for his most notable feat, that being his invasion of China and the establishment of the Yuan dynasty. However, much of Kublai's success as a Khan and ruler can be attributed to his system of governance. Due to his policies and cultural attitudes, Kublai Khan was able to make his empire thrive and maintain it despite the varying lifestyles of his subjects. Before we go on, I just wanted to introduce to you the empire of Kublai Khan. As you can see, there is a vast amount of cultures found within the Mongol Empire, including Arabs, Han Chinese, steppe nomads, and religions such as Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and of course, Buddhism. It would take a monumental effort from a special sort of monarch in order to appease as many of these factors as possible and keep the empire whole. And as we'll soon discover, Kublai Khan did this. His court. Upon moving the Mongol capital to modern-day Beijing, Kublai Khan got into the process of establishing his court. Obviously, internal struggles would serve to plague Kublai's court after he took power, but what he did helped to solidify his reign. In particular, the way he organized his court is of note. Kublai Khan surrounded himself with Chinese advisors who knew the people he was to govern, such as Liu Bingzhong, in addition to other former Jin dynasty advisors. Furthermore, upon their advice, he began to take the role of a traditional Chinese empire, which served to give him the legitimacy he needed to rule over China however he saw fit. Kublai Khan also made sure to appoint more Chinese administrators than Mongol ones. This allowed him to keep the peace and establish local support, while also allowing him to keep the power of his rivals in check, something that was very pivotal to his rule. He also made sure that the Confucian elite did not dominate other inhabitants, but also maintained a balance by ensuring that he had Confucianist support within his court. Furthermore, Kublai constantly made sure to check up on the citizens of his empire, ensuring they had the basic necessities of life, such as food. By managing his court and by extension his country effectively, Kublai Khan was able to solidify his reign and legitimize his rule, something even Genghis Khan would have struggled to achieve if he were in this position. In essence, this shows Kublai's ability to rule over a large variety of people without much difficulty, as the Mongols didn't want to assimilate into Chinese culture or vice versa. Freedom for all, religion, beliefs, and benefits. Another major reason for Kublai's success as a ruler of men is due to how he dealt with religious beliefs or beliefs in general. Kublai Khan and the Mongols as a whole were very religiously tolerant in their own right and typically didn't judge someone by their beliefs, even if those beliefs were wrong in their opinion. Kublai himself was a Buddhist, and he was influenced by the monk Haiyun, who was well regarded in his own right. There are many examples of Kublai inviting people of other ethnicities and beliefs into his court, which in turn allowed him to gain the knowledge of the outside world and for his state to thrive. He desired to see people of various faiths debate their religions, and even invited the Pope to send 100 priests to his capital in order to spread their faith. He also tended to invite Muslim scholars to his court in order to gain access to their world and information. A notable example of this is Kublai Khan bringing in Iranian scholars in order to further his study of astrology, the study of space. These men of merit would be well rewarded for their services. helping to quell civil unrest and provide hope for the new emperor. His policies on people and culture also helped to foster trade all over the empire. This helped him to maintain what he and his predecessors built up due to the profitability of the Mongol state. They are very examples of Kublai providing fair standards for merchants, which fostered the spread of ideas and things such as medicine throughout his empire. This is another major factor in why Kublai Khan was able to consolidate his power during his tenure as emperor. The law. The legal system in the Yuan dynasty is a work of art, as he laid the groundwork for a stable society in China. Kublai Khan and his advisors made sure that the system they implemented was fair, despite the Mongols being at the top of the food chain. The Yasa, or the traditional Mongol edicts, applied to the nomadic faction of the empire, while he allowed northern China to follow their own legal code within his jurisdiction. In other parts of the empire, he combined the Yasa with Chinese customs to form a new legal code that served as the basis for the majority of his empire. This new Mongol legal code also consisted of fewer capital offenses than the previous dynasty, despite the Mongol reputation for violence and being an unforgiving faction. The legal code was an integral part of keeping the empire together, as it did not discriminate based on where you come from, for the most part. And now, the conclusion. As you can probably tell, the Mongol Empire under Kublai Khan was very well organized and highly tolerant given the time period. This degree of tolerance and excellence in his policies is what allowed him to retain control of his empire despite the vast variety of cultures that thrived in it, as I mentioned earlier. I argue that it was this system of governments that allowed the Yuan dynasty to thrive. Moreover, I don't believe that Genghis Khan himself would have been able to preside over the cultural melting pot that the Mongol Empire had evolved into. In this way, you can see that Kublai Khan was essential to the survival and legacy of the Mongol Empire. I hope that I've convinced you that there is more to the Mongol Empire than just Genghis Khan, and as a result, you should consider looking into history as a major to study in. Thank you for your time.